Tired of playing arcade games on crappy USB controllers and pretending it's the real thing? You look pathetic. Get in here, nerd. We're building an arcade cabinet. Ugh. Top open. That looks good. Joystick holes. I see some speaker holes. I see what looks like the mount. And let's open our button and joystick kit. 2 balls. PCB. So here we are with the progress so far on the tabletop arcade cabinet, and I'd say we're doing pretty good so far. So I got the wood arcade cabinet kit from a seller on Etsy called LEP1 Customs. I'll link it in the description. So the kit was actually on sale for $170. Normally I think it's around $200. But all the wood and all the black screws that you probably saw in the previous section are all from the kit. It's a pretty simple process actually. The most complicated parts were unboxing it, figuring out where the pieces were supposed to go. But once I figured that out, all I needed was some wood glue. I think I got some Gorilla wood glue from Walmart. Applied it. The bottle said to wait 24 hours. I stacked some heavy stuff on top of it. It recommended you stack like books or something on top of the wood glue pieces to keep them in place. So I grabbed a stack of textbooks and laid them on top just to add a little bit more weight. So after applying the wood glue and waiting 24 hours, when I came back to it, the rest of the setup process was pretty easy. Probably the easiest part of the whole thing was actually screwing the pieces together, because everything is lined up perfectly. All the pieces are cut perfectly. All the holes are drilled perfectly to where it's pretty hard to screw it up. So what you probably noticed as soon as I popped up is the size of this cabinet and the size of this little monitor that's inside of it. Well, this is a little 19-inch TV that I've had for a long time. I keep it because it has all the old analog plugs in it. So I can plug in my Sega, my Super Nintendo, and all those old consoles with no problems. But I don't think I'm gonna be using it for this build, obviously. I ordered the 27 to 32 inch just because it was on sale. The smaller ones were normally this price, I believe, or close to it. So I was like, well, I might as well just get the big one since it's on sale. I did not realize how massive this thing was until I got it in. I mean, this thing is pretty big. So I will have to find a TV that'll actually fill out the space, but I'm gonna leave that up to you to decide what TV you want. If you have a TV that you already want to use, then you can just buy the build that supports that size, or you can go ahead and go to a thrift store and find a cheaper TV there, 32 inch or 24 inch if you go with a smaller build. Or if you want to, max it out and go with the nicest, newest OLED 32 inch monitor that's out there, curved 4K, we'll have to sell your firstborn child for it. So the wooden kit, like I said, $170. The button kit, $45. So at that point, you have a working, we'll call it a working arcade controller. You'll have 2 USBs that you can plug into any machine and get it running. So what machine will you choose? So for this build, I chose my Raspberry Pi 4. So if you know me, you know I love the Raspberry Pi, and you've probably seen an older video where I put 12,000 ROMs from one file onto my Raspberry Pi 4. I'll link that video here. But that build was made by Wolfenaz, and it has 12,000 ROMs already on it. All you do is download one single file and image it to your Raspberry Pi 4 SD card. So you've probably seen this running behind me the whole time. This is essentially a screensaver. Any game that's on this drive, it's going to cycle through them and show a little preview sample of that game, and you can actually walk by and just click a button and start playing that game that's previewing at that very moment. It's a pretty sick build. I suggest you watch that video if you're interested in using this exact software. If you want a complete software solution that you don't have to go and pick and choose all these different ROMs to download, and just watch that video. I have another thing planned for this, so you might want to subscribe and follow along. So I'm going to have the Raspberry Pi running primarily as its main source, because I want to have this nice kiosk effect. But what if I want to play Steam games? What if I want to play the new Street Fighter or Shredder's Revenge that just released? That plays so nicely on an arcade stick, I can't even explain it. But how is that going to be an easy switch between the Raspberry Pi and the PC? That's a problem for another video, and once that video is complete, it will continue the legacy and progress of this build. So when that video is done, I'll post it here, and I'll let you know if the idea I have in mind is actually going to work. I hope I can pull it off. Peace.